What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, Dead on Dave, coming at you live from Germany yet again. And you saw that new intro correctly. It is the YouTube Roundup. We're back better than ever. The one, the only. Faye is here. Douchebaggins on Twitter. She's joining. Faye, how you doing? It's been like 3 weeks. It's been like 3 weeks since I've talked to the beautiful porcelain doll beauty that is you. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Obviously, I sound a little sick. That's because I am.
I'm going to go with sultry. I'm going to go with sultry. I think it's very sultry. That's what I'm going to go with.
Well, it's like that one song that John Lennon sung when he was sick, and it ended up being good. So let's just put it at that.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So it's been 3 weeks since we have done this show because I was, gallivanting around the United States of America. That was fun.
I mean, you can call it gallivanting, but we all know that you were just drunk every single day.
No, not drunk. High. I was high. Not drunk. High every waking moment. There's no question.
Medicinal, though, right? Medicinal.
No. No. It was about as illegal as you can get in Illinois. There's no question. Can't even defend it. But I probably, I could be getting medicinal weed when I go to the States. Or if I ever live there again, but I don't know. I don't know. There's been a lot that I've missed over the last 3 weeks, but you know what I've missed the most?
What?
You. I've missed you because you bring this light into my life. It's a misleading life. It's like a strobe light because you're this beacon of beauty and properness and kindness, but you bring that goddamn YouTube drama news like nobody else. Nobody would ever suspect this of you, and that's why I like it so much. By the way, your Manses did a great job on your new little intro thing that we have going here. It looks really good. It's all fucking moving and stuff. It's great.
Yeah, it looks good, but he's also the person that got me sick. So, I mean, don't give him any credit for that.
How can it? Wait a second. How did he get you sick? I need to know this.
It was Canadian Thanksgiving just this past weekend.
Happy Thanksgiving.
He came. Yeah, we have a I don't know why.
I said Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay. I thought you said you have a Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Because I still don't understand why we have one, and nobody will explain it to me.
Because everybody needs fucking turkey. That's why.
We just want a day off. Let's be serious.
Fair enough. So how did he get you sick? What happened?
He just came with us sick, and he spread his germs all over me.
Did you kiss him?
Dave, I can't say that on air.
If you kissed him, it's your fault, not his fault. It's not his fault. He was irresistible. It's not his fault. It's your fault.
No, because remember when the Europeans came and they killed off all the natives by bringing their diseases? This is what's happening again. The Americans are trying to kill the Canadians. It's obvious, they just want our land. Yeah,
that's what it is. We want that frozen fucking tundra. That's what we want. We want Winnipeg. Yes, we want where it's 142 degrees below zero. Where there's polar bears and moose with horns on it, and I'm pretty sure they know how to operate like machinery. Yeah, that's what we want. That's what we're looking for. No.
We have oil, so obviously you guys want to come here.
Yeah. Oh my God. You're the worst Canadian I know, but I love you anyway. All right. Enough of the hatred of America. Lord knows there's enough of it out there. What is going on in the last 3 weeks, Faye? What have we missed? What are the big things? What is going on? How do we round up YouTube this week?
Honestly, a lot has been going on.
A little bit.
And so I decided to just basically F everything that happened while you were gone, and we're just going to talk about what's relevant now.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And also, we have to talk about Onision because I'm obsessed.
You are obsessed, but at least you admit
funny. It's so funny. I can't not do it.
Isn't it fun watching him fucking just spiral and burst into flames? Isn't it great? It's so wonderful.
He was holding a puppy in one of his videos to get sympathy. I honestly can't even handle it. But we'll get to him later. He's like the little cherry on top of this beautiful pie that RiceGum and Idubbbz have created for us.
Yes, because in case you were just living under a rock and you have no idea what happened, Idubbbz brought a new content cop. and it was on Jake Paul. Oh wait, no, it was on RiceGum. I really feel that both of those targets were kind of needless to begin with. I had no interest in watching the RiceGum one, but I did. I sat and watched it, and I was impressed with it. It was pretty damn good. So that's the first thing. Before we get into all the things that are happening currently, what'd you think? What's your opinion on the Content Cop in and of itself?
Well, I want to just say, like, 100% agree with you in that I thought that both Jake Paul and RiceGum were kind of low-hanging fruit for targets.
Cunts, both of them.
Like, is there any? Yeah, there's not like one, fully developed brain out there defending RiceGum in any way or matter. The only people that watch him are children that watch his horrible diss tracks. That's my understanding anyway, because I don't touch that with a 10-foot pole because I just don't care.
If there's topics on YouTube that you won't go to, yeah, there's something wrong with that shit. Holy
Like, I'm sorry
God.
You're boring, RiceGum. Like, get interesting.
The thing for me was what I like about Ian, what I like about Idubbbz, what I like about the Content Cop is that's really the only content of his that I watch, is it typically, even with things that he's hitting on, even with topics and people that we already know all of these things with. Leafy, he didn't really bring anything new to the table. Tana, obviously, he didn't bring anything new to the table. But still, the way he's able to present these arguments, it kind of gives you a different variation of how you already feel. It gives you a new perspective on that pre-existing feeling. That's why I like him. This video didn't have that. It was the one thing that was missing. Nothing new for me. I felt the exact same about RiceGum before the video that I did after the video. There was no change in that. And that was the one disappointing thing, if there was anything disappointing about that video for me.
Yeah, I don't understand these people that claim that, that Idubbbz or Ian is some kind of YouTube god. I will say I thought his Tana Content Cop was his absolute worst, and I thought his Leafy and Keem were his absolute best.
I agree. I didn't mind the Tana one because it was petty, and I like petty. If there's one thing that I like in this world, I love pettiness, and that one was petty as fuck, and I do not mind that one bit. But you're right. The two best were Leafy and Keemstar, except for the one caveat of the ending of the RiceGum. I think that this track might be the best thing that Ian's done. I love it. I really do. The more I watch it, the more I like it. I like it as a song. I like it as a diss track. I felt it was effective. I love Boy in a Band. There was really nothing about it. They got PewDiePie to just come there and stand in the background and give the finger. I mean, come on. Come on. I loved it. I really did enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, it was really good. I'm not gonna lie. I pretty much I'm the whitest person alive, so I know nothing about rap. So honestly, like, you could give me any rap and I would be like, yeah, this is rap. Like, I don't know anything about flow. Like, people are like, oh, like, RiceGum got no flow. I'm like, I honestly don't even know. Like, I know nothing.
It would matter.
So I can't tell if it's good or not. I can't tell if it's good or not. I honestly can't.
That's fair. At least you're being honest about it. At least you're being 100%. I'm sorry. I'm trying to give my wife a code so she can go try it because I think my damn 3DS might not be broken. It might be my computer, and that is very unfortunate, but I'll talk more about that later. Okay, so everything that has happened with that, okay, that's all done, buried. We got that finished. The Content Cop happened. What has happened since, and what are we talking about today?
Yeah, I actually really want to talk about RiceGum's response because I'm not going to lie. I feel like a lot of people have sort of like these kind of rose-colored glasses for Idubbbz,
yeah.
And I am not one of those people.
Oh, you're not an Idubbbz fan?
No.
Oh.
I obviously have some. I mean, you know what? Can I watch some of his content and think this is good? Sure, I can watch the content of a lot of people I don't care for and think, yeah, I like this. But I'm not gonna say like that's the points that some of the points that RiceGum made are not valid.
I would like to know which points RiceGum made were valid, because honestly, after watching that video a couple times now, I can't find shit in that video that's valid. I mean, it's really, it's the worst response video I think I've ever seen. It's
worse than Leafy's.
Yes. Oh God, yeah. At least Leafy attempted. See, RiceGum tried to do what Leafy already did. Leafy went ahead and responded point by point. Granted, he didn't do a very good job of anything, but I think he did a hell of a lot more effective job than RiceGum. RiceGum is so tone deaf and constantly throughout the video said Idubbbz was wrong and then basically said, no, wait, he was right. And he did it multiple times. And we also got maybe the cringiest thing that has ever been put on the internet. The rape victim stripper pole money gun incident. I don't know if I've ever seen anything quite like that before. Like, I'm a writer, you know, I write stuff. I put thought into certain things, right? I don't see how anybody sat down and wrote that script. Like, how did this happen? It was bad. It's really bad. Especially for something that Idubbbz literally spent 30 to 45 seconds on. He talked about that rape thing for 30 to 45 seconds, very sporadic, small little bursts throughout the video, 30 to 45 seconds of a, 20-minute video? And yet, that's all RiceGum talked about. Essentially, it was, I don't know. So what did you like about the response?
Well, I just want to say that if I had to shoot RiceGum or Ian based on moral principles, I would still take RiceGum out.
Okay.
I really believe that he is. I don't want anyone to think that I like him at all, but I just don't think that Ian is some kind of like god that can do no wrong. I disagree with a lot of stuff that he does.
Okay, well that's fair and stuff. But we're not talking about him just as a person. Now we're talking about.
I just wanted.
Fair enough, but I mean, like, what did he get wrong in the video?
Know.
No, fair enough. Fair
yeah.
enough.
What did he get wrong? Well, and I thought that when I was watching RiceGum's response, his point about the 10-minute videos and PewDiePie hit really hard. I thought that was a great point.
Really?
Because,
at this point?
I really did. When I watched that, I thought, that's a good point.
The whole anytime anybody brings up anything about 10-minute videos, especially when you are already a millionaire yourself, because that's essentially what any of this really comes down to when you talk about 10-minute videos, stretching it out. That's the underlying argument. To me, it just makes absolutely no sense. Who cares if it's stretched to 10 minutes? Who cares if it goes 10 minutes? Who cares if it goes less than? Who gives a shit? Who fucking cares at the end of the damn day, especially when you yourself have done it? And RiceGum's done it. He's just as guilty as anybody else on the platform, just like most of these things. There is no difference, and it just drives me nuts.
Honestly, I would prefer them to just have nothing and just make it to the 10 minutes than some of these commentators that repeat the same 1 or 2 points over and over just to get it to 10 minutes.
Idubbbz isn't really a commentary channel, though.
Oh, no, but just when we're talking about the 10 minutes, the commentary community is really bad for that.
Well, yeah, but there's reasons for it because it's a trending topic situation. I mean, like, when you're doing that, you're trying, this is a cash grab. That's what the commentators are doing. That's what the commentary community is all about. It's a cash grab. Look, some of these guys are in it to fucking morally grandstand and tell everybody else how they're doing it, but the reality is they're doing it so they can make money. And they're going to use the rules as effective as they can to make as much money as they can and using the rules of YouTube to do it. I have no problem with that. I don't give a shit. 10-minute point is fucking retarded. It's a dead meme. That's a dead fucking meme to me.
Well, and then why did Idubbbz bring it up, though, as an actual point against him? He should have just not mentioned it at all.
Idubbbz really didn't talk about the 10-minute part too much, other than the hypocrisy of it. You know, I mean, that was Idubbbz. The biggest thing that I could say about that video that he did on, well, really on any of these motherfuckers that he does it on, he really goes to the hypocrisy. He points it out. He's really good at pointing it out, too. I mean, he hammered RiceGum over and over on his hypocrisy, including something that I even missed. Oh, look, I was the one guy on Catch 33 who defended Tana Mongeau. The one dude. And even I thought I did a pretty good job of defending her, even I didn't even notice that motherfucker, after saying constantly, having Keemstar back him up that nobody films at these parties, he got caught filming at the same fucking party. That's amazing. How does that happen? The biggest problem with RiceGum is he's so fucking tone deaf. And that's the biggest problem with a lot of these fucking guys, by the way, is they're so self-unaware. They have no idea what's going on in their own fucking worlds. That's why this guy can't fucking talk without contradicting himself. It really does drive me absolutely crazy. Did I say, what did I say? I said Gabby. I didn't say Gabby. What was I talking about? I don't know. Go ahead. What
No, it was Gabby that filmed at that party.
No, RiceGum filmed at that party. No. RiceGum filmed at that party too. RiceGum made a big stink over the fact that Gabby should not have been filming at that party because nobody films at YouTube parties. RiceGum got caught filming at that exact party. Ian showed it. Ian showed him filming at that party. Oh, Tana. Okay, I said Tana. Gotcha. I meant, yes, Gabby. Excuse me. So, yeah.
But like I said, I know, well, I don't think it was to show hypocrisy as much as it was to show greed, because it wasn't the greed portion of his video.
That's true.
But again, I think it was a weak point. I think that, yeah, we've all talked about the 10-minute thing to death. Honestly, I don't think that anyone really cares anymore at this point. Like, people have to do what they have to do to work within YouTube's algorithm.
Sure.
So I would have just dropped that completely. But and I really would have focused on the quote unquote flexing. Sorry, I'm not cool, so I've never heard that term before.
He hit the flexing pretty hard. I think when you can show it so easily, there's really not a lot of reason to harp on it too long. He showed it pretty fucking clear that he is a flexer. He flexes.
And I just want to respond really quickly to John and Danny in the chat, because it's too much to type it at this point. I'm just going to say, he said, it doesn't really matter. Idubbbz doesn't have to. So I said that the reason, the criticism against Idubbbz mentioning the 10-minute and then PewDiePie doing it. Well, and then I said that, well, PewDiePie showed up in his video. He says Idubbbz doesn't have to support the people in his video, but it's just hypocritical of Idubbbz to criticize RiceGum for doing that, when PewDiePie, who's someone who's in his video, they obviously associate with each other, is also doing the same thing. So I don't
think that really matters, honestly. I think it was more of a point of, you know, PewDiePie and RiceGum having a little bit of beef in the past, so bringing PewDiePie in makes a lot of sense. Also, whenever you can get the biggest guy on the platform on your shit, you do it. You do it. I don't really think it shows him as a hypocrite there. I really don't.
I mean, it would be like if Idubbbz made a whole video criticizing, you know, the kind of like more right-winged YouTuber type people, and then had PewDiePie dancing with him at the end. It just comes off as kind of hypocritical.
I don't know if it does. I think if PewDiePie himself goes on a tirade about it being wrong, then I think you have a bigger point. But just having him there physically as a background piece, essentially, I don't really think there's anything wrong with that. In fact, especially because of the fact that there's a history between he and Rice. So to me, it doesn't really matter all that much. But I get where you can make the connotation, the connection, if there was an actual diatribe by PewDiePie saying, yeah, you're a piece of shit for stretching your videos out, when we all know PewDiePie has done it in the past as well.
Yeah, well, like I said, he's there, he's dancing, he's, you know, supporting the diss track, which brings up all of these points that Idubbbz makes. So I'm just saying, it comes across as a little hypocritical. That's it.
I think if it's hypocritical even at all, it's so minor, and it pales in comparison to the hypocrisy that he pointed out for RiceGum. Reality is, when you're doing these type of videos, it's almost impossible not to trip over yourself and contradict yourself a little bit. It doesn't mean that your entire argument is null and void, though. So it's a balance at the end of the day. I think if you can make a point and maybe just bring in somebody without them being the hypocrite, which I don't think PewDiePie was, because he didn't say anything, I think it's okay. I think overall it's okay. Tommy made a very, very similar point like this earlier. And just because somebody is guilty of doing something doesn't mean they can't tell you not to do it. It's not, you know, it doesn't make the point completely invalid. So I don't know if there's hypocrisy there, but I see where you're going with it.
It doesn't make the point invalid, but it's still hypocritical. You know what I mean?
Maybe to the slightest degree of hypocrisy, maybe. Slightest degree of hypocrisy, but fair enough. What else we got?
Yeah, so the next thing that RiceGum mentioned is that, yeah, about the rape point, is that and not only the rape thing, but a lot of this drama, was really old, and that is a fair point. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, It is, because he apologized for it already. It would
He
be
apologized
like
a year after the fact, though, Faye.
team.
Faye. He apologized a year after the fact, after he was called out. He didn't contact this girl for 3 fucking years. I don't give a shit how old that is. Something like that, when it lives on, it lives on. And that is something that I don't feel he ever addressed properly. And Idubbbz called him out for it. And the fact is, if you don't learn from your mistakes, and RiceGum, to me, clearly has not learned from that situation a little bit. He proved that with this video, to me, that I think it's completely fair game. That's the whole point of why we're on this planet, is to learn from our mistakes. He didn't learn from shit. He never has, never will. In fact, I think if you put a fucking gun to his head, he would tell you he didn't do anything wrong. The only reason why he thought he did is because somebody called him out for it. That's why it took him a year to even address it. That, to me, is fucked. But I get what you're saying.
I honestly, I still think there's no doubt in my mind that RiceGum is not sorry for any of that.
Oh, yeah. But that's irrelevant, though.
I think that he's still a huge egomaniac, misogynistic, just sees, you know, people to buy, you know, probably surrounds himself with yes men, you know, just the scum of, like, you know, when you think about, like, the rich and entitled. Yeah. He's a perfect example for it. I really think highlights what's wrong with children having a lot of money too quickly.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this too, because since you said that is an old thing. You know, it's an old situation.
A lot of what Ian brought up was very old drama that had been covered to death. Yeah.
I don't know if a lot of it. I would say definitely the rape for certain. But even if that's the case, let's go ahead and let's address that for a second, because I think it's important. He spent, like I said, somebody timed it out, like 45 seconds on it. 45 seconds. So obviously, even in his mind, he probably thought that maybe this was a little bit old. So that's why he spent 45 seconds on it. So I don't know if it's that big of a deal. And it's fucking horrible. It's awful. And if you go back to the video and you think about it too, the only reason why he brought it up is because RiceGum said, remember Rice, when he begged for this content cop, which he did, when he begged for it like a year ago, he said what he thought Ian would do. And then Ian goes, why would I do all that and goof on you when I could just do this and bring up the rape thing? So it really wasn't even a full-on point. It was something that he brought up because it's just showing that RiceGum has no fucking awareness of himself, that where he would think that Ian, of all people, who's so good at picking stuff out and picking it apart, would go to the physical like he did with Leafy, which was a completely different reason why he called Leafy out than the way he called RiceGum out. That Rice would think that he would go to that instead of going to something so obvious, so big, so glaring as the did it feel good. So Ian hit that first because it made the most sense, showing that RiceGum is fucking tone deaf as shit. Just no awareness, none.
I think the reason that RiceGum did that is he was trying to basically perform a red herring. He didn't want Ian to talk about those kinds of scandals. He wanted him to focus on, yeah, just make fun of my appearance so I can come back and say, oh, you just made fun of me for being Asian, cry, basically.
Well, yeah, but by bringing it up,
that's easy to rebut, right?
Sure.
Because you don't have to swallow your own pride and say, ooh, some people are trying to justify RiceGum's RiceGum's rape comments by saying, oh, he was on stream, we didn't know what he was saying. Like, that is so BS. So BS. If
there's any defense of that rape situation, if there's any defense at all, once again, hate to go back to Tommy again, but it was a perfect defense. He got caught off guard, wasn't expecting to be talking about it, and said something stupid. Now, when Tommy and I talked about this, I said, well, then he didn't have to go on and on and on and on about it.
That would be my next point. Yeah, he kept going and going and going.
So to me, that
how long did it last?
Right. So, go ahead and rape her. She ain't gonna sue you. I'm just sitting there like, oh my God. But again, this is old drama, and I think that there's a slight point to it, and that's why I think Ian himself didn't really harp on it too much.
The only point to bring it up is to paint a character profile of what kind of person RiceGum is.
And he did that effectively.
And to be honest, the kind of person that would say that kind of stuff is someone who obviously is, like you said, kind of out of touch. You know what I mean? Obviously spoiled to death. I hate, just lives like kind of like in a bubble where they don't understand, how horrific rape really is. Because if you or I, like, imagine if you are alive every day. If someone calls in and says I was raped, you would never in a million years say that.
No. No. In fact, because I'm like, okay, you got, okay. How was the Mets game last night? I'm going to talk about, did you ever watch the show Burn Notice? I'm going to talk about anything else. Literally going to talk about anything else, because talking about it after somebody brings it up. I mean, some people would say, okay, they're giving me permission to talk about it. Is a stream, a gaming stream, you know, just a fuck around stream, is that the place to really have that type of conversation? I don't know if it's a good idea. And I certainly don't think that after 3 years, it's a good idea to go put her on a poll either. Granted,
that was the cringiest. I could hardly watch that. That was so, his video was hard to sit through just to have to watch any scene with that woman.
Is it bad though that I kind of want a money gun? I don't know why. I just kind of want one. I can't really tell you why I want one. I just want one. They're fucking awesome. And I want the money to put in it too. Cat. Really? Well, I guess, you know, throwing money at pussy is throwing money at pussy at the end of the day. So that's completely fine. What else we got, Faye?
Yeah, it was not only cringy, but I felt like it was kind of disrespectful.
Oh God, yeah. A little bit.
Because in one way, the person that raped her obviously saw her as only a sexual object, as rapists do, which is why they basically rape. And then to put her on a pole and treat her like she's just a sexual object, I was like, oh God, you don't understand. You're doing it again. You've proven to us that you haven't changed. He was trying to use this point in the video as to prove all his videos are jokes.
Right.
Point that he said. Oh, and not only did he not do that, because obviously the video is not a joke, because if the video was just a joke, it would just be something absurd. But no, he's trying to, you know, make valid rebuttal points. So obviously you're not joking when you're bringing up Idubbbz past and saying like, oh, he's embarrassed of his old videos. That wasn't a joke when you said that, RiceGum, right. You know?
And his whole argument on that about him being embarrassed about his old video, it's such a weak fucking argument. It's so fucking weak. We all have videos that we delete. Who the fuck cares about that? It's so stupid. But I want to go back to the girl for a second. Because what do you think about the argument and the defense of that is, who is anybody else to tell her, you know, what she can make fun of about her own situation? Because I find that interesting, because victims all grieve in their own ways. And really, we have no business to tell any victim what they should or shouldn't be doing to get through and process or whatever. So does she have any onus here for going along with it? Because she did go along with this. I mean, like, she had to go to his house. He pitched her this idea and probably threw her a fuck ton of money as well. And then she did it. So what's her part to play in this?
I mean, she doesn't have a part. It's RiceGum's platform, and it's RiceGum's choice to have reached out and, yeah, paid her a lot. Girl's just hustling. You know what I mean?
So she has no responsibility? I mean, as a rape victim, she has no responsibility? So. You don't think she has any? Okay, interesting. Okay. All right.
Nope.
That's interesting.
I don't think so. Because, listen, I'm not here to, like, obviously she works in sex work, which she said in the video, right? So I'm not going to sit here and tell someone that they can't do what, like, it's like Zoe Berger, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not going to tell her that she can't do what she needs to do to make money. You know what I mean? So,
but when the situation is about rape, though, and it's about specifically your rape.
But it was about her rape.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I've seen some advocates out there, like people were like, you know, we need more awareness about rape, kind of lambast her a little bit because of the fact that she would go along with something, because it kind of, to them, to some people, to some circles, it trivializes the rape, which I think it's ridiculous because it trivializes the comment about the rape. It doesn't trivialize the rape. The rape is still absolutely as bad as it fucking was, but it does trivialize the comment about the rape, and it allows people to think that these type of comments are okay. I think you can make that argument. Don't know if you're going to win.
Absolutely.
But I think you make that argument.
You can make that argument, but at the end of the day, like you said, we have to respect the way that people recover.
Sure.
People, you know what? Like, when you do therapy, when you do trauma therapy, they're going to come in and, you know, if you're doing drugs or if you're an alcoholic and that's how you're coping with your current therapy, they don't say, stop those drugs right away. They say, you can do this to help you cope until we can give you better coping mechanisms that you can use instead. Right. So some people who are raped as a child, they get into like some kind of weird BDMS fetishes, right? Where they're essentially basically reliving the trauma and the rape. And is that unhealthy? 100%. But is that what they're doing right now until they can get better and they can fully process that? Sure. So honestly, as a non-rape victim myself, it's not my call, and I'm not gonna. I'm staying in my lane, Dave.
Yeah, no, I got you. No, I got you. That's why I'm just talking about the different arguments that I'm seeing out there. Because there's a bunch of different arguments on that topic alone. And, you know, for something that was covered so minimally in the content cop, that got the most play. Personally, I think the most damning thing, and I think the best thing that Ian did, and really the part of the video where I thought it really did turn around for me, because I thought the first half of the content comp was kind of blah, if I'm being 100% honest. But it picked up with Gabby. That, for me, is when it picked up. Now, obviously, I'm biased because I took an interest in that story. Because I almost called him Scumgum. Scumbag RiceGum is a scumbag for so many reasons, and that's one of them for me. That whole situation. And RiceGum didn't even have to get, or excuse me, Ian didn't have to get into the specifics of what Rice actually did. It was just calling out all the stupidity of RiceGum's justification of getting into that scuffle with, yes, I brought scuffle back, bitches, scuffle with Gabby. And that's where I think Ian did a really good job there.
Yeah, obviously I was very familiar with this drama. I remember when Gabby's video went up first talking about it.
Yeah.
Again, a really great profile as to the real RiceGum, a look into the real RiceGum. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean, my God, first off, wearing that jacket indoors. I mean, can we start there? Fashion faux pas, and then everything else behind it. It just, I don't know. I feel, once again, the one connection that I think that we can make there is the involvement of Keem, because in the situation with Gabby, Keem really tried to help out RiceGum as much as he can. He backed up a lot of Rice's points, even though they turned out to be absolute bullshit. And now we've seen nobody politic as hard for RiceGum as Keemstar has. Nobody. I mean, it's almost embarrassing how much Keemstar politic for RiceGum. Just to try to
They're obviously butt buddies,
oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. But I think when you're constantly always talking about, why do I get hate? Why don't I get taken seriously? I'm this type of journalist. I'm that type of guy. I'm an entertainer, but sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm serious. Take me seriously. Fuck me in the mouth. He has this fucking way of constantly proving everybody's points about all the things that they're saying about him, and he did it perfectly at RiceGum. Because you can't possibly be the type of entertainer and journalist that you say that you are when you're so fucking clearly glossing over all of the points that were being made to simply just stick your fingers in the air and go, no, RiceGum won, it's fire, blah, 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 which is essentially what he did. I've never seen anything like it. He ignored so much hypocrisy. He ignored so many things. The mental gymnastics, it was fucking staggering. It really was. Staggering.
Honestly, when it first came out, RiceGum, I remember, said, well, I don't see what I told her I'd pay for the phone, so why is she so upset? Like, are you, like, how would say, like, he's so disconnected from reality. He's so disconnected from reality.
I love it. I only had two options. No, you really didnn't. But
I either punch her, I punch her to death, or I walk away. I don't know what to do. You know.
You know, there was this toddler, you know, and it was looking at me, and I knew that there was only two things that I could do. I either had to walk away and let the toddler think that I was a bitch, or I had to punt that toddler. So I kicked it. I kicked the baby. Had to do it. No other options. Only two choices. It's fucking ridiculous.
I told the mom that I would pay for the brain damage. I don't know why she's mad.
I told the mom that I would totally fucking hook the baby up with a Mongeau mansion. No big deal. No big deal at all. Oh, God, I love it. All right, what else do we have here? There's so much here, and there's so many people who were involved. So many people that this spilled over into. That's what I like so much about it, because this is a real all-encompassing drama. What else is there?
Yeah, I mean, Rice. Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think that this content cop is going to hurt RiceGum's YouTube career in any way?
Long term, no. In fact, I mean, it's already being showed that the sub losses is stopped a lot. I think the only thing that's going to make this bigger, and really RiceGum helped by making that fucking awful response, is if Ian really smashes it on the deputy, which we know is coming. We know there's a content deputy coming. It's absolutely 100% coming. So if he smashes it and really hits on the points that I think that he can, especially in just the first couple of minutes of RiceGum's video, It could be. It could. I don't know if it's a party over situation. I think that people like RiceGum are kind of destined to only go so far in the first place. I'm kind of surprised he's gone as far as he has for as long as he has. But it's more about the fan base than it is anything else. And people are going to like RiceGum. They're going to continue to like him. They're going to, same thing with Jake Paul. Jake Paul got caught dead to rights, lying, orchestrating a fucking conspiracy, and it affected nothing. It affected absolute fucking nothing. So, no, I don't think long-term it'll have any effect. Faye, stop typing and talk to me.
I'm sorry. I try to keep also engaged with the chat.
It's fantastic, and I appreciate it. But you have your first job is to keep me on point and entertained. So you got to entertain me first. Everybody else is secondary because we're here for me.
All right. Well, I'll then ask you, what do you think that Idubbbz has to say in his content deputy in order for it to really affect RiceGum? Because he has a lot of young followers that probably don't even watch or care about Idubbbz.
Yeah, I think all Ian really has to do with the deputy is just go through that video point by point, which he typically doesn't do. He likes to do something snazzy. He likes to do something like the 7 Deadly Sins. He likes to have something that's both entertaining and visually appealing. That's one of the reasons why I tend to like Idubbbz's videos, the Content Cops. I don't think he has to do that with this deputy. I think this is a very simple cut and dry thing where all you got to do is just kind of be like, every fucking point that I made in the original Content Cop, this guy went ahead and completely validated, and here's why. And I think he can go A to B, A to B, A to B, and doesn't really have to get too creative with the presentation. I think it's one of those cut and dry ones. And I don't know, even if he does it perfectly, that it's going to have that much of effect. I don't think there's any way to fucking just stab him in the heart and make sure he's staked like the vampire that he is. I don't think there's any way to end RiceGum over this situation. Obviously, you point out the whole thing with the stripper thing, but that's subjective. Some people actually don't have a problem with all that situation, and which is crazy because it's fucked up, but there are people who didn't have an issue with it. So I don't know. It's going to be very hard to end RiceGum, but I think he could take a piece of his ass.
I mean, there are people that don't have an issue with the Holocaust, so you know what I mean. Like,
that's very true.
Okay, then you're entitled to your wrong opinion. I guess
it didn't happen. little bit of an extreme stretch there, but I appreciate the gusto, Faye. I do.
No, but I'm just saying, like, there will always be people that are kind of like, oh, well, that's fine. You know what I mean?
You know, you especially when you're a fan of somebody, you're willing to overlook as much as you can. Now, I think we've seen that from different degrees. We've seen other creators that have kind of given him the benefit of doubt for one reason or another. Keem, I believe, gave him benefit of doubt for a few different reasons. One, he makes money off of RiceGum. RiceGum is fucking gold mine to him, and the fact that he never has to go to war with him only helps Keem.
He comes on his show. That brings him more views.
Absolutely. So he's never going to turn his back on that. And you know what? To an extent, yeah, it's greedy, but I can at least fucking forgive it because it's consistent with Keem. That's the reason why I don't hate Keem. So many people fucking hate him. I don't hate him. I accept him for who he is. He's a flawed individual who can't fucking even take the temperature of the water, let alone his own fucking, like, his own temperature, you know, to know what is going on in his own world. So I treat him almost like I would a fucking sick person. You know, just let him fucking be. I don't give a shit what he does. As long as it doesn't affect me. The only time he ever affected me when he ranted on me on Baited for 20 fucking minutes, which was one of the funniest things ever because it's me. Who would rant on me for 20 minutes? Unbaited. But you know what? He's effectively killed Baited, so I don't really give a fuck anymore. So it's fine. And he deleted that video too.
Yeah, speaking of Baited, have you seen the new Baited about the RiceGum and Idubbbz?
As much as I could tolerate. As much as I could tolerate. I couldn't get through much of it. I don't even know what that show is anymore. I'm
not gonna lie. I watched it on 2x speed.
Oh, I don't blame you. It was, for one, it just sounds awful. Like the production of it was. I'm honestly, and this is somebody who's worked with Clown as much as I have, I'm shocked that Clown would allow that to go forward just because of the way it sounds. it is one of the worst quality podcasts as far as just from an audio standpoint I think I've ever heard. Fucking Chad sounds like he's in a cave. Clowns is okay. And Keem is Keem. How could you sound like shit when you have a microphone as expensive as that fucking golden microphone? I don't know. From a quality standpoint, I didn't like that. That didn't sit well with me. But just from an entertainment standpoint, I don't find them entertaining together when it's just them. And maybe I'm a little bit of a dick rider because Tommy's my friend, but I think the one thing that Tommy was able to do with Baited that nobody else is able to do is balance it. Tommy had no skin in the game. Tommy was not there trying to push an agenda of his own or try to get himself bigger in outward right like Chad or even to a lesser degree Annie Melanakis would do, because they have their own stardom, right? So they have to get their stuff in. Tommy didn't have that ego. He didn't bring it into Baited. He was just there to let these two clash and then try to balance it out as much as he could. That's why it worked. And that's why no other iteration of Baited has or probably ever will work, because nobody else gets that. Everybody else has to get something in. Baited works when Clown and fucking Keem go crazy and somebody is there to kind of be a moderate and sometimes take a side and crack a joke and laugh and be effective. And nobody else can do it.
No, 100%. Tommy was comic relief. And anything where we're talking about drama and serious subjects, you need comic relief. That is extremely important in all drama and all comedy and all forms of entertainment. Chad is not funny.
No.
He's not funny.
No,
and neither is Andy Milanakis. Sorry, but you're just not. You're like a washed up MTV celebrity.
Woo!
Like
Faye! Oh, yeah. I love it when you get nasty. I love it. Get her. Get him. Get Melanakis. I like Andy.
And so it's just it's hard to watch.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of like I don't even know why Chad's even there, to be honest. Andy wasn't in the most recent one. I usually find him, to be honest, the most unbearable one because he really wants to talk, and it's just like shh. At least like Chad can shut up for a little bit.
Right. With Andy, it's like Andy's that one little girl is trying to get in on double dutch that just can't fucking time the ropes right. It's difficult. I'll tell you the one thing that I will go in favor of Baited is Ultra Joe. And this is something I typically don't do. I want to give credit to fucking Ultra Joe. Ultra Joe is the artist for Baited. He's absolutely, as much as I love Vega, and I do, I think Vega is one of, if not the most talented overall creator, like visionary. The dude is amazing. Ultra Joe might be the most talented artist on the platform. His stuff is stunning.
If Vega and Ultra Joe came together, imagine the podcast effects. That would be an experience.
Imagine the love child they would create. Holy shit. Be amazing. Ultra Joe is incredible, man. If you guys don't know who Ultra Joe is, go check him out. He is phenomenal. I mean, really, really, really good. What else we got?
Well, I think, that's, right. On their episode of Baited, a point that they brought up, and that Clown brought up that I thought was, and Chad, that I thought was a decent point, is that in Ian's content cop, he attacked Rice as a person, but didn't really talk about his content.
He never does. He talks about it to an extent.
He does.
He does with Leafy. He didn't with Tana. There was really no reason to. Because I think so much of RiceGum's content is his character. So you can attack the character while effectively attacking the content. And that's why I don't think it was a very good argument. When you're talking about all the things that he does in his content, like flex, like be a hypocrite, like talk out of both sides of his mouth, you are effectively talking about why his content is shit while also completely trashing his character. I think it doesn't always work, but in cases like him and Tana and even Leafy to some extent, which he did get more into the content on Leafy's than he did on either of the other ones, certainly not as much as he did with Keemstars, but I think you can achieve that when the character is so closely tied into the content like RiceGums is. So I think it's completely okay.
Yeah, honestly, I would have brought up some of his stuff, to be honest. Just because I feel like it really adds to like why you know what, yeah, he's crappy, but like why should I stop watching him?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like that final punch, right? Because like you can hate, there are YouTubers that I think are bad people, but I still find their content enjoyable. Yeah. Or like artists, right? Like, it's like R. Kelly, like, yeah, he peed on that 14-year-old girl, but Ignition Remix is still a great song. Like
That's right. OJ killed an entire fucking village, but my God, was he a great running back? You know, I get you. Yeah, I think that's completely fine. I think you can look. And when I make that argument, because there's actually something very personal and really, really absolutely terrible that I make the exact same point with. I don't know if you're familiar with a wrestler from a few years back by the name of Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit, I knew Chris Benoit. I knew him a little bit, not a lot. I got to sit down and have dinner with him. He used to come into my mom's restaurant in the Excalibur Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas. It was right below the Nitro Grill. And I got to a few times hang out with Chris Benoit, and it was pretty fucking great. I think he's one of the greatest in-ring performers in the history of wrestling. Doesn't take away from the fact that he killed his wife and child and then himself. You know, I think when it's entertainment, I don't think it's a sin to differentiate the man from the body of work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no. It's true. So that's why I really think that, because let's say I liked RiceGum's comment. Idubbbz video is not going to make me stop watching him. I'll think, oh yeah, he's a shithead, but like, well, I still like his crappy diss tracks or whatever. Right. You know what I mean? So I really think he should have explained why it was bad content and why you're basically wasting your time watching it. Because I feel like that's just such a nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll do it in the Deputy.
Maybe he'll do it in Deputy. Maybe that he will go in depth into just how bad, especially now that he has a relationship with somebody who actually has some talent, like Boy in the Band. That dude is fucking talented. Did you watch the making of video? That is great. That making a video. I haven't, but
I used to watch. I'm familiar with Boy in the Band. I watch his content. I started watching him like a year ago or so. So I already knew him. So I was like, when I was watching the content up, I was like, oh wow, like I didn't know he had any like YouTube friends.
when I was watching with somebody else, and they go, they said, they saw that person. And they go, oh wait, just wait. I'm like, what? Just wait. Trust me. This is about to get good. Trust me. Something good's about to happen. That guy, he's here. Just wait. Yes, Boy in a Band, not guy in a car. Fuck you, Jade Rabbit. I said it once. Leave me alone. They called him guy in a car because I couldn't remember his name. Sounds about the same. Boy in a Band, guy in a car. Same fucking deal.
Maybe he's a boy in a band and also in a car. I don't know.
He could be. You know what? I guarantee you at least a couple times a week he is a guy in a car, so go fuck. You know? What else we got?
Well, I think we should wrap up with Onision and then take calls. So if you have any opinions that you want to share, I see there's a lot in the chat because there's a lot you can talk about. I'm sure Jade will be really nice and drop the Discord link for any new viewers and then come in, call in, and fight with us online. That's
right. Get your asses into waiting to call because we're about to take some of your stuff. Before we do that here, I'm going to also drop it in there. I'm going to beat Jade because there's not so many times that I can actually be faster than Jade. But thankfully, I have a terrible lag, so I can go ahead and do that. It's also in the description box below as well, guys. I updated it, so it's good. Let's put the final nail in the coffin on the situation. If you have to declare a winner in the RiceGum Idubbbz situation, who do you declare winner and why?
Idubbbz was a winner before he even made the video. It was no contest. You know, when you're playing Smash Brothers and you end and it goes no contest. That's what it was. Like.
Right. No. Yeah. Fair enough. You asked me the question, but I'm going to ask you the exact same. Where does RiceGum go for here, and how much does this hurt him?
It doesn't hurt him at all because his main audience are like nobody that likes Idubbbz likes RiceGum. It's the same with Tana. There's no overlap. So he just keeps making his shitty content and that's it. When all the commentators made videos about his rape thing a while ago and when they all, you know, brought up all the different things that he's done, nothing happened. Nothing happened.
That's it. And that was when they were able to singularly attack one incident. So yeah, there's really not a lot of reason to think that a video that takes on a multitude of subjects would end somebody, which I don't ever think is even Ian's point. I don't think that's what Idubbbz is doing. I don't think he's trying to end careers. I think he really likes to call people an asshole. And I think he likes to do it in creative ways. And I think he's good at it when it comes to the content cop.
He's an asshole and he likes to call people assholes, you know? that's content cop in a
in a nutshell. It is. It really is. All right. So I know that you're excited to talk about Onision because it is one of your favorite topics in all of the world. So what did Onision do now? What did Greg do?
This is a little bit old news, but it's not any less entertaining to me.
Yeah.
Onision is the victim of committing tax fraud.
Yes.
And it's all TurboTax's fault.
It's all TurboTax's fault. He got screwed by the system, and he's gonna lose his house. And hilarious. I don't advocate people losing their house, but you know what? I wouldn't mind it in this situation.
I mean, it's one of his houses, and
Yeah,
maybe
right.
one of his Teslas. Like, can't live without that.
I'm gonna lose a whole 1/16 of my wealth. How could they do this to me? Fucking asshole. And
how dare he? How dare the IR? He has a family. He just bought a new puppy that he totally can't. He's having such trouble. He can't even afford to feed his kids. But he bought a new puppy. Because he's just so hard pressed. Yes, Onision tried to write off his entire house and both his cars as business expenses to
really
the
did.
IRS.
This is true.
And then
You really did.
TurboTax didn't tell him that he couldn't do it. Now he's being audited.
Good.
It's like, oh my gosh, a quick Google search. Can you write off your entire house? Oh, no, you're an idiot, Onision? Okay, sorry about that. I was a little bit confused.
This is the problem with idiots who don't realize they're idiots. See, I don't think I'm an idiot, but I know that I am certainly not smart enough to, if I don't know, ever became rich, that I wouldn't hire a fucking lawyer or a tax accountant of some kind. And guess what? I don't care how anti-Semitic or fucking racist or stereotyping this sound. I'm going to find the Jewish person I can find, the most Jewish person I can find. That is who's going to be my accountant. I'm telling you now. I don't give a fuck. Look less upon me if you want, but those people are good at fucking doing taxes. And that's who I'm going to find. I don't give a fuck. Give a fuck. I don't care. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Go ahead. Fucking string me up. I don't give a shit. All right?
Yeah, well, the thing is, Dave, is that don't you know that Onision's money problems are your problem now?
Yes, of course.
And
they are.
he's got a Patreon.
And he's switched his entire content to subscription base as well, has he not?
He changed it back, actually.
Oh, did he? Oh, what a fucking bitch.
He has a really funny video called I Made a Mistake.
I don't watch this guy. I never watch him. I can't watch him. I shan't watch him.
Essentially, the mistake was believing that people would want to pay a measly 49 cents a month to watch his hard. He works so hard. He hasn't taken a day off ever. He's never been on vacation.
Hey, who the fuck does he think he is? They should have just done like the Sally Struthers things from the 90s and the 80s. For 49 cents a day, you can feed this starving Ethiopian child, but just replace it with his kids. Like he could have put his family like in the dirt and like fucking glued fucking flies onto their eyes and shit. Would have been great. But no, what a puss.
He's so despicable, but it never stops being funny.
He is repugnant.
It never stops being funny.
Do you ever feel bad for watching as much as you do? Like, do you ever be like, you got to take a shower after some of this?
Dave, I hook up my phone to speakers in my bathroom and I listen to the drama as I shower.
You bathe yourself in the fucking drama. Oh my God, I love you so much.
While Onision is crying, I'm scrubbing it up, you know?
So you feel like you're showering in his tears. It's like, oh, this is a great moisturizer.
Onision's tears. It's
oh
beautiful.
My God, I love it. I love all the people in the chat who are saying I'm a Jew. I love that. Thank you for letting me know that you're Jewish. And shalom. There you go. That's what I got.
You know what? Maybe if Onision was TurboTax, would have told him what was up.
Exactly. It would have gave him a little bit of a heads up. Who the fuck knows? Jesus Christ. Oh God, I love it. He really is just an awful person. He really, really is.
This is the comic relief part, Baited, just so you know.
It really is. Real quick, because I know there's a little bit of a tie in. And before we go to the calls, there's a little tie in with Onision because we've talked about this in the past. Did you see what happened with Tommy C and Joy Sparkles? It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, it is really funny.
I want to give a small sum up.
Taking bets on how long her Twitter and YouTube is going to be back.
It won't be long. But this is so fucking amazing. It really is. So for those of you who don't know, Joy Sparkles is this fucking, let's just call her a despicable human being, because everything else, we don't need to get into all of it. Just a bad person in general. We'll say that. I think, well, she'll be mad at me for saying it, but luckily I don't care because she's crazy. She's crazy. And basically she got into a whole bunch of different situations by covering Onision, got famous, got popular because of covering Onision, and Repsion kind of helped her out a little bit, gave her a little bit of a plug, helped her grow. She grew pretty well, continued to make money off of just continuing to go on and on about Onision, and then later Daddy05. A lot of people started taking exception to it and started going to the things that she also says that are controversial at the least. To say the least, some of the things she says is very controversial. So over the course of months and months and months, this is built and built and built. And then the other day, she disappeared from YouTube. And there's a lot of speculation as to why. Did she do something wrong? Did she not do something wrong? Did she just do it? Nobody really fucking knows. Nobody really cares. But Tommy talked a little bit about it because on a live stream, Joy started talking about him, which is something you don't do. I've known Tommy for 10 years. He's my best friend on the planet, but he's a terrible enemy because he is a pain in the fucking ass. It's just absolute pain right up in the sphincter. I don't wish that upon people. It's just don't leave. Just go find somebody else. Don't bring him up. It's not going to end well for you most of the time because he won't go away. He won't stop. And that's great about him. So he does a little bit like the second half of his show on her yesterday, I think. And he talks about it, and he exposes some DMs between him and her because she lied about him. So he wanted to set the record straight. So then they got into it a little bit on Twitter. She started exposing the exact same DMs that he already exposed for some reason, and then she deleted her Twitter. That's about the gist of it, correct?
Yep, that's basically, yeah. She rage deleted, you know, in typical lolcow fashion.
It's exactly what type of fashion?
Oh, lolcow.
What the fuck is that? I'm not young. What is that?
It's people that we milk for lols.
Oh, nice. Well, I got a new saying. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So yeah, that was pretty special. That was pretty great. Any thoughts on that situation?
Joy Sparkle needs to never come back to the internet.
Hear, hear. Hear, hear. Hear,
Honestly,
hear.
if she knows what's best for her, step away, girl. That's my best advice for you.
Right.
Step away.
Step away.
It's not going to end well for you.
Yeah, I agree. I like that you gave me lolcow. That's fantastic. I really like that. Holy shit, I've never heard that. Fuck. Okay, anything else that we missed? Anything else you want to talk about before we go to the calls?
No, I want to hear what these lovely people have to say.
F&A, right. Faye says it the best. Let's go ahead and go to it. Who do you want to start with? I'll let you pick the first one.
I'll pick the Rainer. He's been sitting there for a long time.
All right, let's do it. The Rainer Divulge. You're live with Dead on Dave and Faye. Welcome to the YouTube Roundup. What do you got?
Hello, Dave.
What's up, Dole?
Sorry. It's Tobes, by the way.
Oh, what's up, man? That's right. Yeah, you got a new handle. What's up there, my sexy little bottom you?
Oh, dear Lord. Okay, I wanted to talk about the RiceGum situation again, and I wanted to tie into something that happened a few months ago with a different YouTuber.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Sargon of Akkad.
Oh.
Before Sargon got suspended off of Twitter, he made a joke to an MP and said, "I wouldn't even rape you." Now, the media went berserk, and articles popped up, but that doesn't matter. What matters is the victim, well, quote unquote victim, the MP.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't feel bad about it, and she was fine with it. And I can't help but contrast this with the RiceGum situation, because the people who are basically vilifying this girl for being okay with it and demonizing RiceGum,
Mm-hmm.
If she's okay with it, why do you need to feel, why do you need to defend someone who doesn't care about something or doesn't care about being defended.
Well, I think there's that aspect to it, but I also think that you can call, just from a logic standpoint. Now, this is a little bit of reading in, whatever, but the fact is, he said it himself. They didn't talk for 3 years. Does that sound like somebody who's okay with something? I'm just, like RiceGum is a guy with connections, with people, with things, resources. And if you're somebody who has at least known him well enough to be on stream with him in the past, why wouldn't you talk to him for 3 years? Probably because you weren't fucking K with it. But that's just me with my own logic, and I don't know if it's correct. There's no way. I can't look into her heart. But just from a logic standpoint, if you were friends with him before, and then he says this horrible fucking thing to thousands of people that can hear it, then you don't talk to him for 3 years. There might be a correlation there. Maybe not. Maybe not.
True, but she did come out publicly and say it's fine. Even if it is for money, she doesn't appear to be offended by it publicly.
But it doesn't mean that other people can't be offended on her behalf.
It's still wrong.
Why do we apologize or like defend Sargon's remarks and vilify the SJWs for being offended for this person, and we are okay with people being offended that she's okay with it?
Well, me personally, I'm not. Anybody who is pissed off that she's okay with it, fuck those people, because it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant if she's okay with it. And honestly, it's irrelevant whether that MP was okay with what fucking Sargon said. Because guess what? In both those cases, neither one of those people, since they were okay with it, they weren't going to take any action that was going to affect Sargon or RiceGum. The people that have to be okay with it or not is their fan bases. Because it's not the people who were the victims in these situations that were the ones who were going to gain or lose. It was the people who said the thing. And I think that's where we're getting lost here. The people that said the thing wrong was Sargon and RiceGum. It shouldn't be about anything else other than that. And unfortunately, we continue to go back and make it about everything else other than the situation itself. And it drives me nuts. It drives me crazy.
True.
What else you got for us, Super Tobes? Hey, Faye, anything on that? You wanna comment on anything?
Oh, yeah. I just want to say that just because the person isn't specifically upset by it doesn't mean that it's not morally wrong, right? So just because like, for example, and this is obviously an extreme condition, if a Holocaust survivor said, you know what, I'm okay, that happened to me, it doesn't mean the Holocaust was okay. Nobody's going to argue that. You know what? No, the rape is still wrong, even if the person's okay with it. And that comment that Sargon made is 100% wrong, even if the MP is okay with it.
Right.
Well, you know what I mean?
Well,
that situation
kind of has its own context as well, because it was a non-threat. It was, I wouldn't even.
You're right. It was a joke. The Sargon's, I think, was far more of a joke than what RiceGum did. So I do think that there's a little bit different.
It was supposed to be provocative because he knew she had more power.
Right.
But that's besides the point. Why are we not vilifying Sargon of Akkad for saying something like that, and vilifying RiceGum? He says it's a joke, but it's obviously not true. But they both said something both situations are similar, yet we vilify one and defend the other.
You know what? I'm really glad that you brought that up, because you actually just made the clearest case of context matters, and you may have done it inadvertently. Context matters is something that I've been saying for a long time. In fact, I might be one of the first people who really got on that bandwagon back at Catch 33 a year ago almost, where I made a comment that was the war for context is being fought right now. Not the war of context, the war for context, because I think there's a difference. And it's interesting to me because it's so clear here. One is a clear joke. And really, context does change from perspective to perspective. It does. Context is not finite, because you cannot read what is in the person who said it heart. All we can do is judge a situation fully and for ourselves have an acceptable level of what happened. That's what context is. So when you look at these two situations, they're completely different. One is a joke that's being set up for a purpose. The other is a miscalculation and somebody who was not expecting to talk about rape on a live stream and simply was too fucking stupid to stop himself. Because RiceGum is a fucking moron. And the one thing that I think almost anybody can agree with is Sargon of Akkad isn't stupid. I don't think he's stupid.
Yeah.
RiceGum is. RiceGum is dumb as fuck. My God. Oh, painfully dumb. Anything else, Mr. Toast? Oh, go ahead.
But doesn't that also excuse RiceGum?
No.
The fact that he was the fact that he was what, like 16 or 17, didn't know how to handle the situation and just said whatever came into his mind at the time.
Would you have said that to a rape victim at 17 years old?
Well, I'm 18 right now.
Yeah, so exactly. So you can even remember more. There you go. That's why RiceGum doesn't get a pass.
React to situations differently. That's it.
Very
yeah,
true.
Like rude, misogynistic, disrespectful people react, I guess, differently.
But if you know that you are that big of a stone cold moron, and then you have to determine whether YouTube or being a public figure is right for you. Because the reality is, it doesn't matter about it.
RiceGum's not self-aware enough to realize how stupid he is.
That's very true, but that means that's the end of the pass right there. Because he's not self-aware. He is that fucking far gone where he can't even see anything about himself. And you know what? Sometimes he does, because he admits to everything that fucking Idubbbz called him. He admitted to all of it. He fucking verified every single bit of it. So he can be self-aware, but he tries to walk it back immediately. And when you do that, it's interesting because, and I completely forgot where I was going. Fuck! I lost my train of thought completely. Holy shit. I'm going to start singing. I'm going to sing a song. Go ahead. What else you got, Tobes? Anything else?
No, nothing else right now.
I had a good point, too. No idea where it was. Faye, final thoughts on that?
Lies.
Being dumb isn't an excuse, and I don't give Sargon a pass for that comment.
You don't give him a pass. I don't give Rice a pass, and I don't give Sargon a pass either. I'm not going to vilify him either personally, because I do think it's a clear form of a joke. And I'm okay with most jokes. Most jokes I'm okay with. RiceGums wasn't a joke. So I don't know. Just the way I look at it. All right, Tobes. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate the call.
All right.
Or excuse me, Rainer. Sorry, Rainer. Rainer.
Well,
Rainer.
Divulge. Whatever. Call me whatever.
All right, divulge. Fuck. Watch. Hey, divulge. Look at my bulge. I'll see you later, fucker.
With pleasure, Dave.
I know you would. He want to fuck me. He really does. He can't deny it anymore. All right, who's next, Faye?
Well, thank goodness he's legal.
Thank God for that, because that was the one hurdle standing in my way. Not the fact that I don't like penis. The fact that he's legal. You know, he's potential.
Could you learn to like it? Could you learn to like it?
I don't think I can. I don't think it's an acquired taste. I don't think cock is an acquired taste. I'm not sure it is. I don't think it works that way. Either you like dick or you don't, and it's not for me. I just broke some hearts.
Well, some days you do and some days you don't, you know.
Some people, different strokes for different folks, but for me, nope. I'm not strictly dickly. I'm not even sometimes
As
dickly.
an internet figure, you have to remain, your sexuality has to remain ambiguous so you can have fangirls and boys of all kinds.
Is that what I have to do? No, I have a lot. You know what? The funny thing is I actually do have a lot of gay people who watch the show, and some of them told me they want to fuck me, like legitimately. I'm okay with that. It doesn't bother me. In fact, I like talking about it because you know what? Even though I may not be gay myself, I like the idea that there are potential fuck partners out there for me just in case things get desperate one day, which for some people would already say it kind of has. But I digress. All right, who do we go to next, Faye?
Let's bring in Damn. They actually got sent to AFK because they've been sitting there for so long.
Damn. What's up, Damn? You're live with Dead on Dave and Faye. Welcome to the roundup. What do you got?
Hey, quick question. Who do you think would be a bad idea for Ian to go after?
A bad idea?
Yeah. Like who would be detrimental for Ian to go after?
Oh, God. One of his friends. One of Maximo.
PewDiePie?
Yeah, PewDiePie.
PewDiePie would be bad.
PewDiePie would be bad. PewDiePie is another one who doesn't need a content cop. I don't think nothing really, what are you going to say? I mean, it's all been said. He's been attacked. And I think you look bad yourself if you do it. But any of his friends, I think if he ever were to like turn on one of them, even somebody that he may or may not be on the outs with, like someone like Chad, which I've heard conflicting reports of over the last like couple of months. I don't know if it's true or not. Even doing a content cop on him, it would be bad. Max Mofo, it'd be a terrible idea. H3H3, it'd be a terrible idea, you know? But Ian's smart about that. I don't see him ever doing it. Because this
No,
is all built.
I hope he pulls a Hitler and he turns on his allies.
That's right.
I would love that. For the
Russian
drama.
dog. Right. You would love that. Absolutely. Who do you think would be detrimental to him besides PewDiePie, Faye?
Anyone that's got dirt on him, his girlfriend, like release those nudes.
Man, I love Anissa. I'm glad you brought up his girlfriend. I love Anissa. I love her to death. She was supposed to be on the show. We walked up to the point of setting a date, and then she just stopped talking to me. And I have no idea why. Like, no idea why. Anissa, why did you stop talking to me? We were having good conversations. But then she stopped talking to me. I don't know why. And now I'm sad. It's okay.
Maybe maybe Idubbbz is like super controlling and she's not allowed to talk to other guys.
See, now you're just jumping to things. Jesus Christ, Faye.
I'm just thinking about the possible drama that could unfold.
Fair enough. Damn, who do you think would be detrimental for Idubbbz to go after? Since you posed the question, let me turn it back on you there, Skippy.
I really have no idea. I'm just
okay.
asking the question.
Right. Wonderful. Wonderful. All right, buddy. Thanks a lot. You have yourself a good night.
Bye.
How lovely of him. That was great. I got nothing. I'm just an empty vessel here to ask questions. Let's go to Darius. Darius, you're live with Dead on Dave and Faye. Welcome to the roundup. What do you got?
So here's the second worst Canadian now. As an actual video, I thought the Idubbbz content cop was actually pretty good, and I liked the skits, even though some of it was a little drawn out, right?
Yeah.
But to the actual point of destroying RiceGum or actually making a dent in him, I don't think it really did anything. His fan base is so much different from RiceGum's. I don't know. It's kind of low hanging fruit.
It's hard to cross over, and it's the exact same thing with Tana. It's hard to cross over because their fans are not just they're simply not going to care. They're not watching Ian. Like, maybe more than likely, it's probably more likely for RiceGum fans to be watching Ian than Tana's fans to be watching Ian, but still not enough to make a difference.
Somewhat.
And I think the numbers kind of already dictate that. It's not going to matter.
Like, controversial here, but I'd rather have Idubbbz not make that RiceGum video and not make that Tana video and just make it on somebody
really
different.
I see.
Yeah.
But then he wouldn't be being Idubbbz, and Idubbbz it's all from pettiness, and I like that about him.
Yeah, but Keem was the petty one, sort of. It was
to an extent he was
really.
too.
Okay.
No, Darius, you're right. He does call Keem out for being petty, and then he in turn does petty things. So that is a fair point.
But the thing about Idubbbz, and this is why he never really gets criticized, is because he owns all of it. It's the same thing like
Idubbbz is great though. That's the thing.
He owns every single one of it. Just like he was like, look, when he did Leafy, I'm not going to sit here and call Leafy a bully and bullying's bad. I'm a bully. I love to bully people. I think bullying is great.
Yeah, it was great.
And nobody talked to him about it because there's really not much to say. Because you own it. You talk about the things that you are, and then people want to deal with it, they deal with it. If not, I mean, you've already addressed it. It's out there. Fuck it. So
also,
good.
RiceGum's response to everything and like making the diss track, he's drawn out the diss track for like 3 different videos now, including the response one, and the third of it was pretty much just a miss other than 2 lines. Come on, man.
It's probably garbage. It's probably absolute garbage. And the thing is,
all of his songs sound the exact same.
Oh yeah, they're awful. One of the funniest things that I saw the entire time, anybody going back and forth, I don't know if you saw this, Faye. Keemstar wrote, I find it hilarious. It was something, I'm paraphrasing. I find it hilarious that it took Ian a year to do this content cop on Idubbbz, and in 4 days, RiceGum is already fired back. Yeah. It's pretty fucking obvious, too. I mean, like, just from quality. It shows.
RiceGum just completely rushed the entire comeback, and he made multiple videos on saying, this is going to take a while, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
He's milking it. He's milking it. Milking the whole goddamn situation. There's no question in my mind. Look, he was doing one of 2 things. He was either trying to gauge the water to see what the response was going to be like. If he was winning, if the like to dislike ratio was good, let's say it was in his favor, he would have released that diss track that night because it's done. It's finished. He could have released it that night. But I think because it didn't go over all that well, a majority of the people tend to, even with Keemstar's fucking politicking on his behalf, most people do feel that Rice got the L here, and he looks pretty bad, and his fucking, his response was shit. So there's no real point to release the fucking music video. What's the point of it? It's just going to draw more ire. It doesn't really make sense at this point. I would be surprised if he shelves it completely.
Like, I love rap, right? And I listen to rap like almost nonstop, along with Weezer. Weezer's pretty bad.
That's a good juxtaposition there. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and just like Idubbbz' first diss track is better in like 90% of standards than all of RiceGum's diss tracks.
Agreed.
So far.
Agreed. I agree. I agree.
And Ghostwriter, come on, man.
I don't know.
I don't know what RiceGum's doing. I mean, his audience is just like 12-year-olds, so whatever, man.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right, Darius, anything else?
He's milking it for money.
Yeah,
he's milking it for money. That's it.
And you know what? That's okay in my book. It doesn't bother me too much. Anything else, Mr. Darius?
No, I'm good.
All right. Good. Faye, anything for Darius?
Thanks for calling in, Darius. You're a cool kid.
I don't know what I was expecting you to ask him or say, but you handled it well. Good on you, Faye. All right, final caller of the night. Critical Mess. Live with Dead on Dave and Faye. Welcome to the roundup. What do you got?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, you sexy guy. Listen to that voice. What's up?
Yeah, so who wants to bet that for the next month, RiceGum is going to release videos called Diss Track? And then he's going to like say, it's going to take me a long time to produce this, and then it's going to show like 4 seconds of music, and then he's just going to milk that until people start liking him again.
Yeah, it's possible. It's very possible. Just call like, everything Diss Track.
His latest video, like, I feel like that was actually incredibly misleading, because he made it look like that was the actual diss track, and instead it was just kind of him, like, releasing a tiny bit of it, and then saying that's going to take him a long time. Jesus Christ, he's a fucking idiot. The thing is, so are his fans. His fans are, like, 12, so they don't really care that he has a ghostwriter and laughed about someone who got raped. So they just kind of stick with him. So yeah, there was the initial push where like 50,000 people unsubscribed, but then they all subscribed back again, so it was all pretty much pointless.
Same thing with Jake Paul. He had a huge loss for a couple days. Huge, massive loss. Way more than RiceGum. Then they all came back with gusto, didn't they? And I think what Jake Paul did was far fucking worse than anything that any of these other motherfuckers have done. Jake Paul might have actually committed a actual crime. It didn't matter. It didn't matter.
Pretty much.
Nobody cares because it's the internet. You know what I mean? They say like, they're like, oh, what a jerk, unsubscribe, haha, so funny, hashtag RiceGum's a bitch. Then like a week later, they're like, ooh, a new RiceGum video. I'm gonna click on that. Hey, why am I not subscribed? There you go. Like,
yeah, because you got to dab on the haters, Faye. You got to dab on the haters.
Yeah. So the thing is about the Idubbbz video is that although it was a good video, I don't feel like it had the kind of sting that the other ones had.
Yes.
Because Leafy is here. Like, he systematically showed how Leafy is here's content is utter shit.
Yeah.
And that meant that everyone was just like, oh, wait, it is utter shit, so everyone stopped watching him. Though I genuinely don't feel like Idubbbz was able to convince people that Idubbbz's music's terrible. I don't really think he really went
the
into
difference, and Faye said this earlier, and I do agree with it to an extent, but I think there's a difference between the type of creators. Leafy, his personality has very little to do. Like, he's not a big personality. He's a guy who got a big fan base because of his minimalist personality connected with a lot of the fans that he was bringing in. It was more about his content that Idubbbz could really go after. RiceGums is so fucking connected to his character that I feel that going after his character is like going after his content. But I do agree with you. There was nothing here that made me go, yeah, there is. I feel a lot different, more strongly in my distaste for RiceGum than I did before. I didn't get that. And I typically do when I watch Content Cop. I agree with that.
Yeah, he didn't really attack the quality of the music videos from what I saw. Though, to be honest, they are shit. And
Maybe he felt he didn't have to.
Keemstar.
Maybe he didn't feel he had to. He's like, you know what? You know what I'd rather do? I'd rather talk about all these other things. Why it just makes him a horrible fucking person. Everybody knows his music shit, so why go after it?
Yeah, I've been seeing drama where Keemstar's been saying that I've heard his diss track and it's utter fire. Well, just a few days ago, he released "Dollar in the Woods" remix. And
oh my god,
that is absolutely horrible.
It's atrocious.
He keeps saying that some raps are good, some raps are bad. He really praises people's rapping abilities when he himself, he's just absolutely terrible.
He is.
And he thinks he's good.
But you know what, though? It's called delusion, and it's a wondrous thing. You know what? The fact that he and RiceGum and others can maintain such a high level of delusion, it's kind of fucking admirable. You know what? Keep it up. It's hard to be that delusional, man. I can't do it. I can't do it. But they can do it. Congratulations for them. Fuck.
So one of the things that I like about Keemstar is like he's kind of like claiming that all of Idubbbz' fans are sheep, whilst not realizing the irony that all of his fans are sheep.
Right.
He's like, well, my audience think for themselves. It's like, no, they don't. They do what you tell them to do.
Yes, they do. They're 12 to 14 years old, and they do exactly what the fuck you tell them to do. And you know what? That's okay. You utilize them for that. That's why they're there. You want them for that. You want to be able to attack people at your whim with those fans. So I had a problem with Keem doing that. I didn't like the fact. Faye, what did you think about that? Because I thought it was that, of all the hypocrisy that we're talking about, that might have been one of the biggest ones.
Keem is a walking dumpster, basically, so everything that comes out of his mouth, I just assume to automatically be garbage. I honestly don't take anything he says seriously. And I would like to say that anyone of Keem's fans that aren't a sheep, he just blocks on Twitter anyway, so...
I actually hate the fact that he used sheep the way that he did. I mean, like, I've used this before. I feel that Keem is he is so good at repetition hypnosis. He says the same thing over and over to either give you a word that you hadn't heard or give you a new connotation of said word to give it a new definition. He does this all the fucking time. Or he simply says something until you believe it to be true. He says it so much that you have to believe it. By the time that you've heard it for the 747th time, you believe it. And he did it with sheep. He did it with sheep, and it was fucking effective. Unless you're a fucking critical thinker and you fucking realize that there's the same goddamn thing here with just a fan base. And his fan base is the most toxic of all of them. The argument can be made.
Do you not think it's ironic that literally everyone who's saying sheep is a sheep themselves?
Isn't it great?
I mean, that's the tea. That's the hot tea right there.
It's the hook. It really is. It's the hook. It's the wondrous hook. Critical Mess, you got anything else for us? Wait. Everyone lies. To be fair, Dave. Everyone lies in the chat. To be fair, Dave, sometimes he says things louder. Good point. Good point. He does.
Oh God, I've watched the recent baited episode. It just gets so angry. Jesus Christ.
That was good. All right, Critical. Final thoughts. Anything else?
So, what I'd say is, do you think that Idubbbz will do another content deputy?
Yes.
This time also targeting Keemstar.
I think Keem will make an appearance. I do. I think that
I'm looking forward to that if that happens.
Yeah. He's definitely. I would be shocked if he doesn't make a deputy. And yeah, I do think we'll get. Look, because Keem has been so tied to it, and considering that he's a former target himself, I mean, you could go ahead and just make them both in there. Just make it a halvesies, content deputy 1.5 or whatever on Keem, and just go ahead and throw it on fucking RiceGum as well.
Yep, that would be spectacular.
Faye, anything for Critical Mess while we have him here?
I would be friends with Keemstar in real life. I think that he's funny as fuck, and like not like in a laugh at you kind of way. Like, you know, you just want to be his friend because you just want to like see all like the crazy stuff he says, and then you're just like, yeah, Keem, keep going, you know. I
don't trust him though. I can't be friends with somebody, like actually hang out with them, if I think they'd fuck me, like fuck me over.
He would know nothing about me. He wouldn't even know my first name.
You can be friends with me as long as I'm an avatar.
He'd be like, hey, Michelle. Be like, oh, yeah, hey, how's it going, Daniel?
Michelle. Holy God, I love it. I love it. All right, Critical.
The problem with Keem... Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, the problem with Keemstar is that he seems to get an idea in his head. He has a bias in his head. And once he has that in his head, he thinks he's absolutely right.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what you shove in his face, he just absolutely refuses it and just starts shouting louder. He's like a fucking toddler.
He is a toddler. That's why he's funny as fuck.
I'm telling you, there is no more apt description of Keemstar than that fucking video of him, Tommy, and Clown unbaited, where he just starts going la 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 la, because that is Keem. That is him. It's what he does all the time. And you know what? He can do it. I'm telling you, that level of delusion is difficult to maintain because you got so many people just kind of look at you like, what? Like, really? No. All right, Crit. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate the call. Final thoughts?
Have a
Anything
good
else?
one. Nah, I'm gonna head to bed.
Hey, I love it that most of your conversation was about sheep and you ended it with bah. Fantastic.
Bah. Good night.
Yeah, I'm half Welsh.
Good night. See you later. Faye, anything you want to wrap up before we get up out of here? Anything we may have missed? Anything that we've heard that you want to comment on? Or just simply anything you want to talk about before we get out of here for the evening?
I just can't wait for Onision to do more stuff to talk about on this show.
There you go. There you go. Tell all the kids where they can find you. And also go ahead and plug your man's for all the wonderful work that he does for the channel.
I don't know. My Twitter is right up there. Somebody already saw it and then asked me why I lived in New York. I told them that's just where I live. Like, I can't help that.
God damn it. Okay.
My the guy that makes the graphic, my wonderful partner who is also attempting to kill me. You can find him on his Twitter. He's so active. He tweets every day. Just kidding. He like never uses it. But I'm sure if you messaged him and you said, yo, do something in After Effects, he probably would.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's a great graphic designer. Phil is awfully cool, his handle. He's a great guy. Phil's the
I
man.
threw it in the chat if you want to stalk him.
Yeah, it's also in the description box, I believe.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so you can go harass him. I don't care.
Sweet.
One time I was playing a game online, and I said if I won, everybody has to tweet him something like, hey, daddy, you're so sexy or something. He wakes up the next day, and he has like all these tweets at him about that, and he was like really confused. And then there's this one tweet, even though it was like 6 months ago, that keeps getting retweeted, so he keeps getting notified about it. It's wonderful.
You are just a troll. Fantastic. And fantastic job tonight, Faye. Thank you very much for all the work that you put into getting this show ready. I very much appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No, and thank you, Dave, for having us on. I think we had a good episode back to really remind everyone why Dead on Dave is the stream to be at.
Aw, that was nice. Yes, we are the stream to be at. This is true. All right, guys, thank you very much for joining us. I'm Dead on Dave. That is the one, the only, the porcelain doll, beautiful Faye. We'll see you next time right here on the YouTube Roundup each and every single Tuesday. You can check out all the other things that we do here on Dead on Dave Productions and my other channel, Dead on Dave Pokemon, and my Twitch stream, which was interesting today. We'll see you next time. Find all that stuff in the description box below. Keep it copious, folks. Remember, as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends. Take us home, Santa Claus. Peace. Hey guys, make sure you hit that subscription button. Look at me dance. Look at me dance.